Now that we know that the Hunter Biden laptop story was a farce and a scam, and the media worked with the intelligence agencies to hide it, maybe it's a good time to remind everyone how the election interference didn't just happen in 2020, but happened in 2016 too. They're really good at this kind of stuff. New information in the Clinton-connected lawyer indictment from last week puts egg on the face, all over the face of everyone in the media and the federal government who participated in this total fiasco. Yet there's still no accountability by either the FBI or the media. Listen to Christopher Wray here dodge a question from Senator Rand Paul.
Do you think it's appropriate that we use FISA court warrants to investigate presidential campaigns?
What I do think is appropriate is that we use FISA warrants to investigate counterintelligence threats to the United States, as long as it's done consistent with the minimization and querying procedures that are carefully approved.
You don't think there was any problem with this investigation with the Crossfire Hurricane? You just indicted one of the Clinton lawyers yesterday for lying to you guys. You guys took it hook, line, and sinker and said, oh, well, we'll just investigate a major presidential candidate. Of course there's a huge problem.
Yeah, Christopher Wray's motto is that the buck stops here. It's the buck doesn't stop here. It stops anywhere but here. Listen, I want you all to remember, by the way, this whole case, this collusion farce, was never based on a single shred of evidence. You don't believe me? Here's the Obama administration, one by one, contradicting what they said in public and in private about the collusion hoax, starting with Jim Clapper. Take a look at this.
I will tell you that my dashboard warning light was clearly on, and I think that was the case with all of us in the intelligence community, very concerned about the nature of these approaches to the Russians.
Yeah, he had a whole different story, though, Jim Clapper, when he was under oath in July of 2017, when he said, I quote, I never saw any direct empirical evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting or conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. Weird. Here's another one, Andrew McCabe. Check this out.
I was speaking to the man who had just run for the presidency and who might have done so with the aid of the government of Russia, our most formidable adversary on the world stage.
So strange, though, how when they're under oath, they say something different. Here's McCabe under oath. We have not been able to prove the accuracy of all the information. Gee, you think? Remember Susan Rice when she said this?
What his motivations are, I think, is a legitimate question. The policies that this president has pursued globally have served Vladimir Putin's interests.
And here's Susan Rice under oath in July of 2017. I don't recall intelligence that I would consider evidence to that effect that I saw. Conspiracy prior to my departure. Liars. And here are a few quick headlines from the media, collusion hoaxers as well. You had Slate, Business Insider, Time, others, all asking questions about the back channel to Russia that never existed. Joining me now for the rebuttal is Democratic strategist Laura Fink. Laura, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to be here, Dan.
So, Laura, Hillary tweeted out in October of 2016 about this Alpha Bank hoax. It's now been fully discredited and debunked. Doesn't she owe America an apology for occupying our time for the last 4 years with this hoax?
You know who I think owes your viewers an apology is everyone who was pumping this up to be a deep state parade. It was supposed to be a prosecution that brought out, FBI agents and Justice Department lawyers doing a frog walk. And instead, we got one skinny indictment on a lawyer that doesn't even work for the government. If I was one of your viewers and I was promised Obama, Biden, federal agents and Justice Department lawyers, I'd ask for my money back. So that's how I see it. And frankly, I don't even know that these charges are going to hold up in court. The evidence is very thin, according to a lot of legal experts. And it looks like this being the only thing after an unlimited budget, after millions of taxpayer dollars were spent, I think there's a better thing we could do with our money.
You know, it's interesting. Do you think investigating Trump associates for free parking is worth the time, while a Clinton-connected lawyer who lied to the FBI and another federal agency, according to these allegations, you think that's not serious? That started a major international global conspiracy. That's no big deal. But free parking for the Trump campaign is? If you could explain that, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm not familiar with that, but what I am familiar with is that this incident that the indictment was issued on took place in September of 2016. The Russia investigation began, as we all know, with George Papadopoulos swimming in Russian contacts, which he admitted under oath with offers. And so, of course, when Russian agents contact someone affiliated with a national political campaign, the FBI has to investigate. That was the start of the Russia investigation, and it proceeded from there. So to hang your hat on this red herring, I think is pretty thin, and I would ask for some more evidence. And I also would say this: I'd love to come back when and if these charges conclude, because I don't think they're going to hold up, and a lot of lawyers are with me.
Well, let's just rebut that one by one. The George Papadopoulos Mueller investigation was Mueller himself said, and let me quote, they did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. So if Laura has evidence Bob Mueller didn't, you'd like to present on the show here. I'd love to hear it. Wait, I'm not done. Hold on, I'm not done here.
Right.
And then also, it's interesting you bring up red herrings, because Hillary Clinton knew, and I quote, that the secret communication channel she pumped out in October 31st, 2016 in a tweet was in fact a red herring. Those were her own investigators and her own lawyer. So I'd just like you to comment on that the Hillary's team knew this was totally fake, this Alpha Bank channel and the collusion thing. Why hasn't Hillary apologized?
Well, I'm just wondering why we're talking about Hillary Clinton, who has been off the political stage for quite a few years now. So I think ultimately what is being sold to conservatives across America is that this investigation is a hoax, is that there are these deep state actors that are perpetrating some kind of federal fraud against Donald Trump. And I would say it's time to just stop playing the victim there, because George Papadopoulos, as I said, was swimming in Russian agents. Russians, it was established, interfered in the election.
I'm going to ask you again, because you keep smearing George Papadopoulos. Laura, this is phenomenal. You're on TV smearing this guy when I just literally read to you the Mueller report, and they found no evidence. I will quote again.
What about obstruction,
that members of the Trump campaign conspired. Has anybody been charged with obstruction? Laura, has anyone been charged with obstruction? Again, are you breaking news on my show?
What did the Mueller report say about obstruction?
It said what the weather's going to be tomorrow. What kind of answer is that? It's an open question. You just smeared a guy on TV.
What kind of answer? Why are we talking about this in the middle of a pandemic?
Because Hillary started the biggest conspiracy theory nonsense in American history, and she still hasn't apologized. And the lawyer she was working with got indicted 2 weeks ago. And you guys just won't take the L.
You always want the gals to apologize. You know, you always want the gals to apologize. They're very sorry.
It's interesting, in the beginning of the show, I said how liberal narratives always involve identity politics, and you just tied my show together perfectly. So thanks for joining us, Laura.
Well, I mean, you seem to have a real something for Hillary Clinton, and it's just wonder why.
Yeah, no, I just have something. No, I really just have something for liars who start conspiracy theories and people who back it up. But again, thanks. Some people want us to believe that COVID-19 came from eating bat soup.